Okay, so we made the paper bigger. I know in the previous instructions, we made the building smaller and to fit onto an actual 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. This time, we made it so that we increased the size of the paper so that the building would fit into this just a regular rectangle shape. Now, what's the pros and cons of that? I don't really see a pros and cons of anything because, well, the thing is that we'll show you a different way of doing this as well as we move on to another program. But anyway, one big advantage of doing this is that, let's say you wanted to move this, the podium 5 feet over. I could still just type in 5 foot over and it'll just happen at the exact 5 foot, okay? If I had scaled the drawings down, I would have had to figure out the scale factor and then try to convert that into inches and then move it over the exact inches that I need. I don't want to think about that when I'm actually designing a real size space. As architects, in our mind, we are making things that are actual size, right? We're not thinking about things in scale. We're thinking things in human scale or user scale. Because I guess if it's a zoo, it's elephant scale. I don't know. But anyway, this way of scaling up the paper is sometimes a little bit more advantageous if you know you're going to make some changes to this drawing. Okay. Like I said, this might go the way of the dinosaur as well. This method too might be going extinct as we introduce AutoCAD to you guys or work on AutoCAD to derive all our drawings from. But anyways, here we go. As for the placement of this this object, what if I say I want to get this centered onto the screen? So if I draw a line from corner to corner, that the midpoint is going to, if I could line that up with the midpoint of that, that would be kind of awesome, right? So if I draw a line from midpoint, mid, notice that I'm not going and snapping on all the O-snap stuff. I'm just typing in mid because that is the most accurate way of doing things. Because if you have too many of these O-snaps projected, you're gonna be selecting everything. So line again, and then mid, and that's your center. Okay, that's the center of the paper. So I could either see, oh, that's pretty close. I could either move the paper or I could move the building to fit, get that to that point. So I'm gonna move the building. You could do either, but so move, select, move, and then select from the midpoint of this diagonal, which I guess is, oh, I said mid. So if I hit mid, it's gonna automatically, wherever I go, it's gonna hit that midpoint, and that's the only place that's gonna go. So if I hit that, then I can hit that intersection there, and I know that everything is on center. Now, I remember Christian making a good point about when we did the human scale figure, that yeah, this is the actual center of the paper, but when we have like text and stuff on it, maybe we need to make a little adjustment of making the paper go a little bit lower so that we have room to put the text and everything looks balanced. Let me not think about that for now, but that is a great way of thinking about how things lay on a piece of paper or on a piece of board, okay? I have the elevations. So I don't know if we should do 1/8 inch or 1/4 inch for if we only have one section, but let me do the elevation first. So this sheet right here, if I have both of the elevations lined up, if I say line from the midpoint, that won't do. Draw one because this is all cut up line. Line midpoint of that, and then draw, sorry, wrong one. Line midpoint of this guy and line up with F8 to make it straight. I know that that's going to be the center of the board. So if I move all of these guys, move from the midpoint of that line to the perpendicular perp of this line right here, then I know that now at least it's lined up toward the center. So in the same manner, if I put a line work from the midpoint, I know that that part is the center of my board. If I want to put this thing so that the two images line up, or is in the equal space, one way is to figure out the midpoint of that. But then if you do that, there's going to be a smaller margin here, a smaller margin here, and a big gap here. So maybe that's not the right way. Okay, so we're going to have to figure out a good distance to put on here. So if I say offset 7 foot, and then start moving everything around, move from that intersection to that intersection, and then move that from that intersection to that intersection. That might give us more of an equal spacing, a little bit of a margin on the outside and equal spacing on the center. Let me get rid of these guys, and then you'll see that it looks a little bit more balanced on the sheet, right? So it doesn't have to be the 7 foot that I made. It could have been something different. It could have been 6. If it was 6, it would have probably been closer together. It's all in what you want to see as a margin on the outside and the in-between space on your elevation. So for this exercise, we're probably gonna, for your exercise part, we're going to make it so that the elevation is shown as 2. And since we only have one section, maybe, you know, maybe we'll just say,
we're at 8 minutes.
oh, sorry.
Sorry.
We'll have it at the, we'll just use the same 1/4 inch scale on the section as well, and just use that for that for the printout. So we'll leave it at that for now.